Welcome again. In this lecture, we will have an overview of ISO 19770. A quick view of the ISO 19770 standard. An overview. The home of the ISO 19770 standard can be found at 19770.org. This is the website for the working group known as ISO/IEC JTC1 SC7 WG21. The standard consists of multiple parts, currently 6. It seems that as we all learn more about the science of this standard, the more complex the topic becomes, and thus the architecture of the standard needs to evolve in the name of simplicity. Part 1 of the standard defines the processes of SAM. The second defines software product and component identification and is intended to support the processes defined in the first part. The third part identifies entitlements, which are ultimately balanced against software usage when attempting to ensure that what is entitled is actually used, no more, no less. The fourth is once again about processes, an attempt to break down the processes in the first part in a tiered fashion in order to make multiple levels of compliance available. There is also a fifth project that is destined to supply an overall introduction and glossary for ISO SAM. The sixth part defines requirements, guidelines, formats, and approaches for use when producing a mapping document that defines how industry practices map to or from the ISO 19770 series. Standards. There are currently 6 ITAM standards with others under development. The first one is ISO 19770-1, ITAM Systems Requirements. The first generation was published in 2006. The second generation was published in 2012. It retained the original content with only minor changes, but splits the standard up into 4 tiers which can be attained sequentially. The last version, which contained 19770-1 till 19770-5, is developed in 2017, and 19770-8 is developed in 2020, and it splits into 3 tiers. First tier, trustworthy data. Second tier, life cycle integration management. Third tier, optimization. ISO 19770-1, SAM Systems Requirements. The most recent version, known as ISO 19770-1 for the year 2017, and published in December 2017, specifies the requirements for the establishment, implementation, maintenance, and improvement of a management system for IT asset management, ITAM, referred to as an IT asset management system. ISO 19770-1 for the year 2017 was a major update and was rewrote the standard to conform to the ISO Management System Standards, MSS format. The tiered structure from 19770-1 for the year 2012 was moved to an appendix within the updated standard. Intended users. This standard can be used by any organization and can be applied to all types of IT assets. The organization determines to which of its IT assets this document applies. This document is primarily intended for use by those involved in the establishment, implementation, maintenance, and improvement of an IT asset management system. Those involved in delivering IT asset management activities, including service providers. Internal and external parties to assess the organization's ability to meet legal, regulatory, and contractual requirements and the organization's own requirements. ISO 19770-2, Software Identification Tags. ISO 19770-2 provides an ITAM data standard for software identification tags. Software ID tags provide authoritative identifying information for installed software or other licensable item. Overview of suite tags in use. There are three primary methods that may be used to ensure suite tags are available on devices with installed software. Suite tags created by a software creator or publisher which are installed with the software are the most authoritative or for identification purposes. Organizations can create their own suite tags for any software title that does not include a tag, allowing the organization to more accurately track software installations in their network environment. Third-party discovery tools may optionally add tags to a device as software titles are discovered. ISO 19770-2 Software Identification Tags. Providing accurate software identification data improves organizational security and lowers the cost and increases the capability of many IT processes, such as patch management, desktop management, help desk management, software policy compliance, etc. Discovery tools or processes that utilize suite tag data to determine the normalized names and values that are associated with a software application and ensure that all tools and processes used by an organization refer to software products with the same exact names and values. ISO 19770-3 Software Entitlement Schema. The primary intentions of 19770-3 are to provide a basis for common terminology to be used when describing entitlement rights, limitations, and metrics. To provide a schema which allows effective description of rights, limitations, and metrics attaching to a software license. The specific information provided by an entitlement schema may be used to help ensure compliance with license rights and limits, to optimize license usage, and to control costs. This part of ISO 19770 supports ITAM processes as defined in ISO 19770-1. It also designed to work together with software identification tags as defined in ISO 19770-2. ISO 19770-4 Resource Utilization Measurement. This standard provides an international standard for resource utilization measurement. A RUM is a standardized structure containing usage information about the resources that are related to the use of an IT asset. A RUM will often be provided in an XML data file, but the same information may be accessible through other means depending on the platform and the IT asset product. ISO 19770-5 Overview and Vocabulary. ISO 19770-5 for the year 2015 provides an overview of ITAM, which is the subject of the ISO 19770 family standards, and defines related terms. ISO 19770-5 for the year 2015 is applicable to all types of organization. For example, commercial enterprises, government agencies, and non-profit organizations. ISO 19770-5 for the year 2015 contains an overview of the ISO 19770 family of standards, an introduction to SAM, a brief description of the foundation principles and approaches on which SAM is based, and consistent terms and definitions for use throughout the ISO 19770 family of standards. ISO 19770-8 Guidelines for mapping of industry practices to or from the ISO 19770 family of standards. ISO 19770-8 defines requirements, guidelines, formats, and approaches for use when producing a mapping document that defines how industry practices map to or from the ISO 19770 series. Thank you very much and see you next lecture.